That's right. This is Fun Uncle, where I talk about all things cryptocurrency, blockchain related. And I got to remind you, if you weren't a part of a family before, you are now, because I'm your uncle and you are my nieces and nephews. And I'm going to talk about the crypto markets uncle style, if you're all right with that. And it starts with just looking at the charts. Things are pretty doom and gloom here. They're down significantly from their all-time highs, and especially upon the recent news that's been coming out. The stock market's down. Our guy Brandon is making some posturing on Capitol Hill that's scaring people out of their investments. But this is just another walk in the park for us long-term crypto enthusiasts. And I think that was highlighted beautifully in this meme I saw the other day. It's like, oh no, my portfolio is down 25%. It's down 25% so far. And this is something that made me crack up because I've been in space since 2016. You know, I saw the absolute devastation, the gut-wrenching devastation of the 2017 drop as I saw my portfolio just completely obliterate. And I just want to remind everyone who's new to this space that this is a long-term play. You should be daily cost averaging. You should be buying every Monday or the first of the month, whatever fits your strategy the best. And just keep your head up because this is a long-term play. I remember when Pokemon cards came out and it had its fall from grace and I sold all my cards. I remember Magic the Gathering came out and it had a lull. And I sold all my cards and got disinterested in the space. The same thing with the dot-com boom. It had its big peak, and then it had a massive fall from grace, and everyone started to just run for the hills. It was a fad. No one's going to keep up with this anymore. And so I'm just reminded that all these things have happened, and this is not something to scare me away. It's something to reinvigorate myself in the space, to try to keep investing and to keep my head up. But a lot of things have changed since 2017, specifically the amount of crypto that is locked up in DeFi protocols. There's almost $100 billion locked up in staking in DeFi. And this means that if people wanted to panic sell, they can't. Which is great. This brings significant stability to the crypto space where people who once were trying to sell no longer can. And the same thing with Ethereum. There's $34 billion locked up in ETH 2.0. And there isn't even a date yet for Ethereum 2.0. So we don't even know when people will be able to pull their money out on ETH 2.0 contracts. So what this really is supposed to remind you is that there is a bottom for the crypto space. There is a point where people can no longer sell. It's not like this is going to go to zero because it's impossible. People have locked their money up into the space and people continue to lock their money up in the space, especially when we have these amazing prices. These are absolutely stellar prices for Bitcoin. You should be trying to Scooby-Doo scoop it up as much as you possibly can because look at this. These are stellar prices. This is an incredible dip to buy, and I'm excited to encourage you, not financial advice, to consider buying some of it if and when you can. Another thing to keep into consideration is the fair value price for Bitcoin. We are pretty diggity-riggity darn close to it. And you better believe that the institutional investors, those large countries, those corporate investors are going to be licking their chops from the head to the toe, and they're going to move from the bed down to the flow whenever we get to these prices. They're going to want some of this Bitcoin at $28,000, and they'll be buying it by the billions. So whenever you see Peter Sniff telling you that it's going to go to zero, he's completely wrong. He actually doesn't know how it works. There's so much money locked up. There's so many long-term investors who are buying the dip, and there are countries and there are institutional investors. There are corporate investors who are putting 1% to 5% of Bitcoin on their balance sheets because it's a great hedge against inflation. And Ethereum, same thing. It's going to be about $2,200 is what I would consider the local bottom, what they're calling the fair price for Ethereum. Look at the charts. We're pretty close to that right now. We're about $200 away from it. So those of you who are contemplating selling right now because you're like, oh, it's going to keep falling. Oh, it's going to keep falling. Well, maybe it might keep falling, but the levels to which it will fall to are not going to be advantageous for you to scoop up. You should be considering buying the dip with new funds instead of trying to sell to reaccumulate at lower levels because we're pretty close to it. Honestly, I would be pretty shocked if we kept falling any further than this. And what's more is it's Sunday you're watching this. Monday, we're going to have the markets open back up. There's going to be a relief rally of some kind as people start scooping up the stock market. That's going to bring new faith back into other markets like crypto and real estate. And so that's just overall fantastic news for the space. Because these are dips that people want to buy. I've had plenty of my friends hitting me up on social media saying that they, normally had a DCA for Monday, but they decided to buy some on Saturday and Sunday because the prices were too good to pass up. They even shifted their daily cost averaging date to the weekend because they were like, wow, these are great prices. I don't want to miss out on this. And they're so confident that Monday will be a relief rally of some kind. And another one you got to consider is the fear and greed index as at 11. And I got to remind everybody once again that when people are fearful, you should be greedy. Whenever there's blood on the streets, you got to be buying property, all right? So this is just another walk in the park for us long-term investors. We've been in this space for a long time now, and this is something that just doesn't unfaze us. When we look at these metrics and we go, well, okay, the RSI is at a very low level. Look, it's almost touching zero. This RSI, the relative strength index, is close to zero, which is a buy signal for most of us. When the fear and greed index is, almost in the single digits, that's a buy signal for a lot of us. And what's more is this chart right here says that we might be posturing for a very interesting double bottom scenario here. So if we remember my previous chart, where the fair value for Bitcoin was about $28,000. Well, this chart goes one step further and says, okay, if we do hit this $28,000 level, that will signal a double bottom for the long-term space, and that will trigger us for a relief rally that might invigorate people to continue buying and shoot us into all-time highs. And remind yourself, look at this chart. This is 2023. So what they're suggesting here is that this is going to be December of 2023, another dip into the new year, right? So the same thing, we're seeing a dip in January, February. We might again see the same kind of pattern play out in 2022, where we reach new all-time highs sometime in the third, fourth quarter of this year. We're going to have another dip and then more of the same. This is a long-term play. And remind yourself about Pokemon. For those of you who are old enough to remember Pokemon when it first came out, and we could buy packs for a couple dollars each. You get a Charizard. I had a couple Charizards, and I was like, it's just cardboard, whatever. It's just cardboard. Throw it away. Get rid of it. I got to go to college, So I want to just remind everybody to keep your head up. Daily cost average. This is frothy with growth. And this is not only a cultural shift, but this is a technological shift that's taking place right now. Like, we are seeing a lot of massive changes in this space. So keep your head up, keep your head on a swivel, and do not let these dips scare you away. The Fun Uncle League Loungers are 200 unique tropical-themed NFTs that are packed full of unlockable content. Access to exclusive events, airdrops of free NFTs, and a digital download of my first book, Fun Uncle: Common Sense for the Greater Good. But I know why you're all really here. You want to hear about the $500 in Ethereum prizes I'm making available to my true die-hard fans. And all you gotta do is follow the links within the unlockable content, and you'll find a series of riddles. First one to solve any one of these riddles and email me the answer, you're going to win the prize. I'm making 5 of these prizes available between now and NFT Las Vegas, March 22nd through the 25th. Now, if money is tight, don't worry, because I'll be giving away free NFTs on my Twitter page throughout the contest dates that are also available for prizes. What's more is all of you who continue to hold my NFTs will have an opportunity to win a free airdrop of my next batch of NFTs in the second quarter of this year. If this project is a success, I will continue to grow the prize pool as we go. Hop on over to OpenSea today, and I look forward to seeing you all at NFT Las Vegas this March.